Hi students, welcome back to the online classes. So this is the third session of the lesson motion and time. So in the previous session we have studied about motion. We learned about the motion and we have also seen how many different types of motions are there. So in this class we will see about the relation of motion with time. How the time was related to the motion, how the key informations will be given when the motion was related with time. What are the physical quantities that we can get when we compare motion with time? So generally in our daily life we will indirectly use the word of time in such terms like slow, fast. So we will use these two terms, slow and fast. So these two terms, these two words indirectly includes the concept of time. The terms slow and fast. For example, if you and your friend has started to school from the same point, so you and your friend houses are situated at the same position. So both of you are having houses at the same position and both of you are started to the school. So you were started on a bicycle, whereas he was coming to the school on foot. So who will reach the school first? So you will reach the school first. Why? Because you are coming on a cycle. So you are fast than your friend. You are faster than your friend. For example, if both of you starts to the school at 8 a.m. and you has reached to the school at 8:15 a.m. and your friend who is coming to the school, who is going to the school on foot, he reaches to the school at 8:20 a.m. So who who are fast here? You came to the fast, you came to the school earlier than your friend. So here you have taken only 15 minutes to reach the school, whereas your friend has taken 20 minutes from 8 a.m. to 8:20 a.m. he has taken. So he has taken 20 minutes to reach the school, whereas on cycle you have taken 15 minutes of time. So here who was fast? So you are very fast. Why? Because you are coming to school on cycle. So indirectly these two words slow and fast is included with time. You are comparing the motion. You are comparing your motion with time. You have included some time to your motions. From this place to this place, from your home to your school, you have taken 15 minutes of time. So hence you are very fast. If you have taken less time, you are fast. If you have taken more time, then you are slow. So these two terms included time. So in this way the time plays a very important role to give a very much clear information about the motion. Here your motion was fast, that's why you have taken 15 minutes. Here your friend's motion was slow, that's why he has taken 20 minutes. If the time is larger, he will be slow. If the time is very small, then it will be considered as faster. So in this way the time is very related to the motion. So similarly, this time 8 a.m. or 8:15 a.m., how can you measure the time? How can you know the time? So you can measure the time with the help of hand watches. You can find out the time, you can know the time with the hand watches or wall clocks. So you can know the time with that. In olden days we will use pendulum clocks to know the time. So now the wall clocks or hand watches are available to indicate the time. So there are some other device also to measure the time. So the measurement device is stopwatches. We have seen some stopwatches. So what is the difference between the wall clock and stopwatch? What is the difference between the wall clock and stopwatch? Wall clock will give an exact time. For example, it will show an 8 o'clock of time. It will show an 8 o'clock. So whenever you are starting from home, that wall clock shows a time of 8 o'clock. So, but the stopwatch gives the time gap. Wall clock shows an exact time, whereas stopwatch gives the time intervals. Stopwatch will be used to measure time intervals. Stopwatch will be used to measure time intervals. For example, when you are starting from your home to the school, when you are at home, the wall clock shows 8 o'clock, 8, 8 o'clock. So, but your stopwatch will be at the reset position, it shows a 0 seconds. So, after starting to the school, just start the stopwatch, and whenever you have reached the school, the clock shows a time of 8:15 a.m. So how much time you have taken? 15 minutes. So the wall clock shows the exact time. The wall clock shows exact time. Whereas if you see the stopwatch, you will find 15 minutes. So what it has given is time gap. So what is the time gap between start and stop position? The time gap is 15 minutes. We have reached to the school within 15 minutes. Wall clocks will show an exact time, whereas stopwatches will be useful to calculate the time intervals. So during school hours you will get some interval. What is the meaning of interval? It's just a rest gap. There is a gap for you to take the rest. It is a gap. So time gap is the difference between these two times. From 8 o'clock to 8:15. What was the time gap here? 15 minutes. Wall clock is used to measure, to find out the exact time, whereas stopwatches will be useful to find out the time intervals. So stopwatches will be in this shape. So there will be a button at the head position of the stop clock. So if you press that button, then the stop clock starts working. So you can also find these stop clocks in your cell phones and mobiles also. So stopwatches can be used to measure time intervals. These can be useful to measure time gaps. Interval is nothing but time gap, time intervals. So let us see how can you measure the time. So what are the units of time? What are the units of time? Units of time. So time will be measured in, the time is measured in seconds, minutes, hours, or days, or years. These are all the general units of time. These are the general units of time. So time will be measured in the units of seconds, minutes, hours, days, years. So let us learn about the conversion of units. So these units will be used depending upon the situation. Depending upon the situation, you will use these units. So what will be the time taken to reach to the school? It can be maybe measured in minutes. It may be in minutes. So like that, depending upon the situations, different units will be used. So let us see the conversions between the units of time. Let us see the conversions between the units of time. So 60 seconds is equal to, these are the conversions between the units of time. So conversions. So 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute. 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute, and 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. And we know that 24 hours is equal to 1 day. 24 hours is equal to 1 day. 365 days is equal to 1 year. 1 year. And 10 years can be called as decade. 10 years is equal to 1 decade. 1 decade means 10 years. 10 decades is equal to, what is meant by 1 decade? 1 decade means 10 years. If there are 10 decades, that means 10 into 10, 100 years. So 10 decades is nothing but 100 years, which can be also called as century, 1 century. 10 decades is equal to 1 century, and 10 centuries is equal to 10 centuries is equal to 1 millennium. 10 centuries is equal to 1 millennium. If it was 100 years, it can be called as 1 century. 1 century means how many years? 100 years. 10 centuries becomes, it is called as 1 millennium. 1 millennium means 1000 years. 1000 years is called as 1 millennium. So these are the conversions of time. So let us see some examples. How can we convert the unit? How can we convert time from one unit to another unit? So let us see some examples. So first one, just convert 2 minutes in seconds. 2 minutes is equal to how many seconds? So we know that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Here what was the conversion from minutes to seconds? We want to convert this minutes to seconds. Hence, we have to take this conversion, which is minutes to seconds. So 2 minutes is equal to how many seconds? So 2 minutes is equal to 2 into, in the place of minute, you can substitute 60 seconds. 2 into minutes. Here 2 minutes means 2 into minutes. So in the place of minute, you can substitute 60 seconds. 60 seconds. So what is 2 into 60 is 120. 2 into 6 is 12, and here 1 0 is there. Place that 0 here. So 2 into 60 is 120 seconds. So here 2 minutes is equal to 120 seconds. 2 minutes is equal to 120 seconds. So it is easy to convert larger unit to smaller unit. Here which one is larger? Minute or time or second? Which one is larger? Minute is larger one and second is smaller one. So it is easy to convert from larger to smaller units. Let us see an example to convert from seconds to minutes. Let us see an example to convert from seconds to minutes. So I have considered second example. So convert 300 seconds to minutes. 300 seconds to minutes. So 300 seconds is equal to how many minutes? Let us convert that. 300 seconds is equal to how many minutes? So 300 seconds is equal to, so place this 300 here, 300 in the place of second. 1 second is equal to how many minutes? 1 second is equal to how many minutes? Here we know that only 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So now what I was asking is 1 second is equal to how many minutes? Here what it was there? 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds, and my question is 1 second is equal to how many minutes? So to know that, so what we have know is 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So just bring this 60 to this side. Here 60 is in the numerator. If you bring this 60 towards this side, it will get into the denominator. So 1 by 60 minutes is equal to 1 second. If nothing was there, what it means is there is 1 remains there. If you bring this 60 to this side, 1 will be remains there. So 60. So 60 seconds. If you bring this 60 to the left hand side of the equation, it will get into the denominator. So 1 second is equal to 1 by 60 minutes. 1 second is equal to 1 by 60 minutes. So here the conversion is 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds and 1 second is equal to 1 by 60 minutes. 1 second is equal to 1 by 60 minutes. So we need to convert 300 seconds into minutes, right? So in the place of second, substitute. What is second means? Second is equal to 1 by 60 minutes. So now the units has changed. Here the units is seconds, and in the right hand side you can observe the units as minutes. So here 0 gets cancelled, and this 6 will cancel in 30 5 times. So 5 into 1 is 5 minutes. So in this way you can change the units from one unit to another unit. You can make several conversions. So the important point is you need to know there will be some logic when you are converting from smaller units to larger units. Here second is a smaller units, whereas minutes is a larger unit. So you need to find this conversion. If you know this conversion, you can easily convert from one unit to another unit. So let us learn about speed. Let us see about speed. Speed. So whenever you are traveling along with your fathers on bike, you can observe a meter in the vehicle. You can find a meter in the vehicle. So there will be a needle which indicates the speed of your vehicle, and again there will be a small digital meter. You will find some numbers in it. So in this meter there will be some place which shows the numbers in it, how much distance the vehicle was traveled. This will show, the needle will indicate the speed of the vehicle, whereas in the same meter only you will find some number boxes which indicates the distance traveled by the vehicle. The numbers in these boxes indicate the distance traveled by the vehicle. So these two meters you can find in the vehicles. So the the meter which indicates the speed of the vehicle is speedometer. This meter is called as speedometer. You can find the speed of your vehicle with this meter, with the help of this speedometer, and the digits that was showing here indicates the distance traveled by the vehicle. So to totally how much distance the vehicle was traveled, you can obtain from this one. So this is called as odometer. This is called as odometer. It will give the distance traveled by vehicle. Distance traveled by vehicle. So how can you find the speed of a vehicle, of any object? How can you find the speed of any object? So to find the speed, there is a formula, that is speed is equal to total distance by total time taken. So you can find the speed of the object which is in motion with the help of this formula. The formula is speed is equal to, and especially we will call this as average speed. This formula is used to find average speed. So average speed is equal to total distance by total time taken. For example, if I was in motion, and I have taken 4 seconds to travel 12 meters. I have taken 4 seconds to travel a distance of 12 meters. What was the total distance I was traveled? 12 meters is the distance I was traveled. And what was the time taken to travel the distance? The time taken is 4 seconds. So let us calculate my speed. So I was traveled a distance of 12 meters in 4 seconds. So let us calculate my speed. So speed is equal to the total distance I was covered is 12 meters. Total distance I was covered is 12 meters by, and the total time taken to cover 12 meters of distance is 4 seconds. 4 seconds. So 4 will cancel in 12 3 times. So the speed is 3 meters per second. The speed is 3 meters per second. So I was traveled with the speed of 3 meters per second. So what are the units of speed? Here we have gained that the units is meters per second. The speed units is meters per second. So what was my speed here I was obtained? I was traveled with a speed of 3 meters per second. 3 meters per second. So what is the meaning here? 3 meters per 1 second. What is the meaning of 3 meters per second? 3 meters per 1 second. For every 1 second, I was traveling a distance of 3 meters. So this indicates speed, 3 meters per second. So what is the definition? This is the formula. But what is the definition of the speed? You can get the definition of the speed from this numerical example value. So here, what is the numerical example value? 3 meters per second. In 1 second, I was traveling 3 meters. So what the speed will give? The distance traveled in unit time. The speed will give the distance traveled in unit time. Unit means 1. Unit means 1. Unit time. What is meant by unit time? It can be 1 second or 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day. 1 means unit. Unit time, 1 second is also a unit time. So in unit time, in 1 second, how much distance I was traveling? 3 meters. So what the speed indicates? The distance traveled in unit time. I was traveling a distance of 3 meters in 1 unit second of time. Unit means 1. So what is the definition of the speed? Speed can be defined as the distance traveled in unit time. The speed gives 3 meters per 1 second. In 1 second, I was covering a distance of 3 meters. So speed can be defined as the distance traveled in unit time. The speed gives distance traveled in unit time. So what the speed was giving? The speed is, we have calculated with an example, the speed of an object is 3 meters per second. So what was the information included here? It is traveling 3 meters in 1 second. It is giving the distance traveled in 1 second. It is giving the distance traveled in 1 second. That is the definition of the speed. Speed can be defined as the distance traveled in 1 second. So you can also, the units of the, here we have finded out the units, the speed in the units of meters per second. We have calculated the speed of the object in the units of meters per second. If you find the speed in vehicles, you can observe there will be a units of kilometers per hour. You can also measure the speed of the object in kilometers per hour. So let us see what is the conversion between kilometers per hour to meters per second. So let us see some conversion factor related to that. So kilometer per hour, speed can also be measured in 1 kilometer per hour. Let us consider 1 kilometer per hour. Let us see the conversion between kilometer per hour to meters per second. So I have considered 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer per 1 hour. The meaning of this is 1 kilometer per 1 hour. So 1 kilometer is equal to how many meters? 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. The word kilo indicates the 1000. 1 kilogram. What does that mean? Kilo. 1000 grams. 1000 grams. 1 kilometer. 1000 meters. If you ask anyone's salary, they will say that 50k. What does that k means? 50,000. The k indicates the 1000. So here 1 kilometer is nothing but 1000 meters. So let us convert. I was converting kilometer per hour into meters per second. So I was converted kilometer into meter. So just convert this hour into seconds. So 1 hour is equal to how many seconds? So let us see that 1 hour is equal to, just convert it into minutes first. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. And 60 into, in the place of minute, what is 1 minute? 1 minute is nothing but 60 seconds. So here 6 into 6 is 36. 2 zeros are there. Place as it is here. So here 1 hour is equal to 3600 seconds. So substitute in the place of 1 hour with 3600 seconds. So now the units has changed. So in the previous step, it is kilometer per hour. Here meter per second. So here 2 zeros and 2 zeros are gets cancelled, and 2 table cancels 10 5 times and 36 18 times. So 1 kilometer per hour is equal to 1 kilometer per hour is equal to 5 by 18 5 by 18 meters per second. So this is the very important conversion between kilometer per hour to meters per second. 1 kilometer per hour is equal to how many meters per second? 5 by 18 meters per second. So let us see an example. So convert 72 kilometers per hour to meters per second. So your vehicle was indicating a speed of, all the vehicles will indicate speed in kilometers per hour only. So let us see what is its value in meters per second. So what is the speed of the vehicle? The vehicle is moving with a speed of 72 kilometers per hour. In 1 hour it is moving, it is covering a distance of 72 kilometers. So let us convert that 72 kilometers per hour into meters per second. So 72 kilometers per hour. So I was writing the numerical value as it is 72 in the kilometer per hour. What is kilometer per hour? Kilometer per hour is equal to 5 by 18 meters per second. So in the place of kilometer per hour, substitute 5 by 18 meters per second. So here 18 will cancel in 72 4 times, 4 5s are 20 meters per second. So 72 kilometers per hour is nothing but 72 kilometers per hour is equal to 20 meters per second. The numerical values are different, but the speed is same here only. So 72 kilometers is equal to 20 meters per second. So this is the concept of speed. So what the speed indicates? It indicates the distance traveled in 1 hour. The distance traveled in 1 hour. So with this, the motion and time the lesson was completed. So in this lesson we have learned about the motion, uniform motion, non-uniform motion, and we also seen about the different types of motions, and we have learned about how the time was related to the motion. So that's why we have related motion and time. We have got a new physical quantity, speed. So this is the physical quantity obtained by linking these two concepts, that is motion and time. So it includes, the speed includes both motion and time. So with this session the lesson was completed. Thank you.